Hello, everybody. It's Matt from the Pen Habit. Welcome to what I hope is going to be kind of a semi-regular feature here. It's a little almost podcast type thing that I'm calling Currently Inked. I was talking with Aziza Asgarali a while back. You may know her as Gourmet Pens, and we were trying to come up with an idea of something that would be fun to do that's just kind of light and positive and, fun. And so I thought, well, how fun would it be to just sit down and spend 20, 30 minutes with someone talking about what you've got inked and what you've got it inked with. And, it's not going to be huge news or, under crazy exposés or anything like that. So I was supposed to start with Stephen and Aziza, but they've been sick for the last couple of weeks, and I'm an impatient man. So instead, I decided to invite a fairly new YouTuber in the fountain pen community. You may know her. Her name's Kerry, and she is from the Pens and Tea blog. So Kerry, welcome to the very first Currently Inked.
Well, thanks for having me, Matt. This is pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's also my first kind of Google Hangout as well. So
ooh, we're initiating you. Well, very cool. So tell us, why don't you give us the quick background, how you got into pens, kind of what got you into doing videos, and why pens and tea in particular?
Well, my kind of foray into fountain pens is random. Just happened by chance, actually, because I hate paying for shipping. And I was on Amazon one day, and I can't even remember what I was ordering. So obviously it wasn't anything cool, but it was like, you're such and such dollars away from being able to get free shipping. So I was like, well, I'd rather just get something than having to pay for shipping. And it was the Pilot Metropolitan that was just suggested to me, and I was like, whatever, fine, let's do it. Because I was never a journaler. I was never really into pens. It was just kind of a random thing. And a couple days later, it showed up, popped in the cartridge. I went on YouTube to even figure out what a fountain pen was. Because I was just a ballpoint, like big ballpoint, let's just get it done and move on with my day. But I was like, all right, so I'll give it a try. So I popped in the cartridge that came with it. First experience was actually terrible because I was writing on copy paper.
Oh, that would do it, yeah.
Yeah, so I very quickly learned it's not as simple as a thick ballpoint pen. But once I got like a little bit better paper, I started realizing how cool it was. I really enjoyed the actual experience with writing. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm sure there's a few other fountain pens that I could look at. I had no idea.
Enter the rabbit hole. Yeah.
Exactly. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. So I kind of looked in, started going on YouTube and finding some just like random videos. And I thought, I was entering into a world that was like this big, which I suppose in the grand scheme of things, it's relatively small. But yes, I picked up a Pilot Metropolitan, and then I got a couple more. Then I kind of went into like the Lamy Safari kind of world. And I was like, all right, well, I'm good with that. Let's just leave it be. Yeah, that never happened. I think within my first like 2-3 months of getting that first Pilot, I think I had like 7 more. So I fell quickly.
Yeah, that story sounds real familiar. I have been there. I continue to be there, I think. I hit my 3-year anniversary of using pens. It's only been 3 years. And kind of as a 3-year exercise, I decided to finally catalog all of my pens and ink. And I've got 170 bottles of ink. And I think I'm up to 80 or 82 fountain pens, something like that. And that doesn't include the ones that I've currently got in my possession that aren't mine, but are just review pens. But yeah, I understand. So
Yeah.
why'd you get into the YouTubing part of it then?
A couple things. First is that anytime I would go onto like YouTube to find anything about a fountain pen, typically it was all dudes, which is great. Mm-hmm. It's totally great that there are, that community there, but there's
But the ladies got to represent.
Yeah, I was surprised that there's so few lady fountain pen people on YouTube, at least. I mean, there's a couple like Aziza and whatnot, but so
yeah. The other one that I was thinking of is the FP physicist. I don't know if you watch her at all.
I haven't, no, but I'll check it out.
But she's I met her, and I'm blanking on her name. I'm so sorry. But I met her in DC, and she had just moved to the East Coast and is a physicist, but she does ink reviews and pen reviews and paper reviews and pencils. She's into pencils as well, but does them from a very scientific bent, which is a unique approach that a lot of people don't take, which so I think is really cool.
Yeah. And then the other reason why I sort of decided to do it was because there's no Canadians.
Too.
Most of the videos are from either the States or there's a few from, like Europe side of things. And I was like, there's no Canadians. And I felt so like I was the only one kind of thing. And like, I know nobody in my personal life that uses fountain pens, even though I've pushed it on pretty much everybody I know.
First taste is free.
Right? Birthday, graduation, here, have fountain pens, some samples of ink. But yeah, so I just decided, you know what, there's a whole online community. Why don't I just kind of toss my hat in? And I really enjoy talking about them and using them. And this is just sort of the easiest way to kind of like dive in. Because I started in the social world with just Instagram, same name, Pens and Tea. And that went really well. So I was like, okay, let's just try it out. So that's really how the YouTube channel started.
Cool. Well, so along those lines, talk about the tea. How'd that get started, and how'd you decide to combine those two together?
Because I have a secret love affair. Tea, I write. This is actually a mug I got when I was in Northwest Territories. It says Inuvik on it. I don't know if it'll come up very well on the camera, but tea actually throws back to my best friend. He got me introduced into like loose leaf tea back when I was in university. And tea, oddly enough, just like pens, used to be not on my radar whatsoever. I was never a coffee drinker, never a tea drinker. Basically, it was give me water or soda. We call it pop here, but and that was it, So that's all the liquids I put in my body. But then he's like, okay, just try it. And I was like, okay. And I've been hooked ever since. And now my tea cupboard, literally I have 3 shelves, and they're just filled with tea. And for me, tea and pens, tea and writing, go hand in hand for me. Because whenever I like to sit down and journal or, write out video ideas or really anything that I'm going to be writing for more than just like kind of a quick jot down, I like to have a hot cup of tea, sit at my desk, which I'm not currently at, but, sit at my desk, just kind of, I don't know, it's my personal time. It's like my comfort time almost. And so pens and tea just happen to go together. And for YouTube, I don't know, I just like kind of
it's something different too, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, quick tea suggestions of things that you could kind of like, warm your body while you're warming your soul,
So I have talked a little bit about this in the past, but I am also a tea fan. This is actually my great grandmother's teacup. We got from my grandma's house when she passed away this last June or last July. And I've got 2 of them that I brought back with me. And I just love the inside, the yellow inside. But so here's my tea. I will pour myself, because I like drinking out of a little teacup like this, but I don't like it getting cold. Plus, this is way too small. I need a big old honking tumbler of tea. So in honor of Pens and Tea, I am drinking Guangzhou milk oolong tea, which is one of my favorite loose leaf teas. I'm a tea fanatic too.
I just ordered that one, by the way.
Yeah, I get it from the Whistling Kettle in Ballston, New York. It is my favorite tea. It is the craziest oolong because it honestly tastes milky and creamy. It tastes like you've added cream to it. It's a little sweet, a little bit of a grassy note. It's kind of a green oolong, little tiny tight balls that expand when you get them in water, and it's amazing. So what are you drinking today?
This one is Nepal Black, which I did actually a short review of with my Pelican M600 video, which was also my first pen review that I did. Other than the quick hello, I'm pens and tea, this is what I'll be doing kind of intro. But this one I really like. It's a black tea. It's like the leaves are like this long and like super like noodle-like almost.
Oh, cool.
But it's just a relatively plain black tea, but it has just like a titch of honey flavor to it. So it's a little bit on the sweet side. And then I usually put a little bit of milk in with mine because I do like that milky flavor. I like to drink this one when I don't want anything like too fancy. I have a lot of like really heavily flavored teas. And then I have a couple like just plain, no nothing, just give me the tea leaf. So that I can kind of like go back and forth. But the one that you're drinking sounds amazing. And I actually just ordered it. I didn't get it from that company because right now with like the Canadian dollar, it's just
Order it from Canada if you can.
Yeah. So everyone, it's kind of a running joke now on my Instagram that David's Tea should be paying me to talk about their stuff because it's just where I get everything from. But yeah, that one I just ordered actually yesterday. So I should get it within like a day or two, and I'm really excited to try it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, before we go into biography or anything like that anymore, let's tackle a couple pens, shall we? So, first of all, any new acquisitions that you've gotten just recently?
Yeah, they're not like new brands to me. I did pick up the Lamy Safari, the new dark lilac.
Yep.
Which is a little bit special because it's one of the very few things that us Canadians get before Americans.
Yeah.
We normally have to wait at least like 2 weeks before we get anything. So that was kind of cool. And the Emerald of Chivor ink, we also got before Americans. And I think we kind of lost a little bit of love because people got real mad at us when they saw that we got it first.
That's okay. It's good for us. We're spoiled. We're used to getting stuff. Although, funny enough, very few things in the fountain pen world come to the U.S. before they come to Europe.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's in Europe first, and we have to wait for it here. And people get so impatient. But it's like, guys, we get everything else ever first.
Yeah.
Deal with it. It's okay. Patience is a virtue.
It's one that's hard learned though. So that's a new one. I also picked up, which I haven't received yet. My favorite fountain pen is the Platinum 3776.
Love that pen.
It is by far my favorite. The blue one here was the second gold pen I ever got. But I don't know why this one just seems to like sing to my soul. And I know it sounds weird, I just like sniffed that, but it permanently now smells like Diatramentis cola. Because that's the ink that I had in it for so long when I first got it. And so yeah, this was my first one. I fell in love, and then I ended up getting this one. And Goulet Pens just came out with a new finish. It's called Stardust. It was like black with like gold sparkles. So because I'm a nerd and this one just like, beats with my heart, I did pick that up as well.
That was one of the pens, the 3776 was one of the pens that I was expecting not to like very much, but I love it. And I don't use it as often as I should. I still have my Chartres blue one.
Yeah.
But I love the pen. And I did smooth the nib a little bit because, I don't like feedback as much as Platinum likes to put on their pens.
Yeah.
But it's comfortable, and the nib is so perfectly tuned.
Yeah, I love the look of it. The Chartres blue one was actually the first one that I got. That one has a fine nib. I did smooth that one out a little bit as well because it's a little bit toothier. But the Bourgogne, I'm terrible at pronouncing.
Yeah, I think it's Bourgogne is how I've heard it pronounced.
Bourgogne. Yeah. This one, which I totally almost just dropped, has a broad nib, and I didn't have to touch this one. This one's beautiful.
I need to try their broads. I don't have a broad from them.
It writes to me like the Lamy 2000 medium writes.
Oh, okay.
A little on the I guess smaller side for German pens. But I just love them. So I had to pick up another one.
Oh, very cool. So I obviously, I don't know, people have heard, I've talked about it in some of my videos, but I got laid off about a month ago. Actually, it's a month ago yesterday. And so I have been without a job. Therefore, I have been without pens for a month, which doesn't sound like much, but come on, it's me.
No, I understand that.
But the one thing, the day before I got laid off, I got this. So
Ooh,
this is the Classic Pens LB5. It's my third one. This is the mineral ore diamond, I think is what it's called. I forget the exact name. It's going to be printed here. It's the Kouseki, Kouseki. This is number 25 of 50. I got a killer screaming deal on it. Comes with a medium 21 karat gold nib.
Nice.
Big honkin' nib. I've said it before. These Classic Pen LB5s are pretty much the perfect pen in my mind. They're just the best pen out there. And it breaks my heart that I even bothered putting a video together about them, because all of a sudden my Instagram feed is full of people buying these LB5s. And I'm like, no, I don't have all of the colors yet. So, so I still need a white one, a red one, and a blue one. And then I'll have the full set. So yeah, I just love the LB5. That's my grail pen right there.
Yeah.
So much so that, I've said it before, I don't need to get any other pens besides that. That would be the one where, Desert Island. And right now I've got that inked with, let me see, what do I have it inked with? Oh, so I just got some ink from a follower in Japan who got me access to the Kingdom Note inks that Sailor makes for the stationery store Kingdom Note. And he asked me which ones, I paid for them, but he ordered them for me and then shipped them to me. So I got 3 of them. And it's the Emperor Butterfly, which is kind of a blurple color. It actually reminds me a lot of Iroshizuku Murasaki Shikibu.
Okay.
Kind of Japanese beauty berry color, but a little bit more blue, a little bit more saturated. So that's one of my currently inked. What about you? Something
boy,
else?
I don't think I can hold all of my currently inked. I have. Let's see. Open up this guy.
So what do you use for your case to start off with?
Well, right now I'm using a Visconti 3-pen holder. Which is probably the one that I use most often, mainly because I try so hard to keep my currently inked pens down to 3. Because I find when I do this, I don't want to clean them when it gets too many. So I just say, I'll clean it later, and then I ink up another one. And next thing I know, I have 20 that are currently inked, and it takes me an hour and a half to clean them. So I try so hard to keep it to 1 case.
Yeah.
But now that I'm starting to do videos, I'm inking up many more, which I'm sure you now have.
Yes, I do. I had 27 inked at one point. I'm down to just these 7.
Nice.
But and some of them are not pens I'm reviewing. I just wanted to, because that's the thing. And I don't know if you find this at all, but I find that when I'm doing reviews, I often don't get a chance to use the pens I like the most because I'm so busy. I want to make sure I give the review pen a fair shake.
Yeah.
That what I'm carrying with me are 3 or 4 pens that they're nice. Excuse me, too much tea. Some nice pens, but they're not what I would choose to go to first. So.
Yeah, I can understand that. I always have at least one of the platinums inked up. So, I've already done a review of these, but they'll always be inked. So, at least I have one of those that I can go to. Yeah. But certainly, I am starting to understand why people do short seasons of videos or just have random ones, they're not scheduled. I went with every Monday and Friday just so that I could establish a routine so that people kind of I don't want to say rely on me for it, but just understand that it's not just a passing phase.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I'm starting to be like, oh man, like if I open up my drawer where like I keep them all that are like cleaned, I'm like, I really want to play with that one today, but I have to do a review on those because I've already done that one. So I'm starting to get there. But yeah, that's why I've got like 10 inked up right now.
Oh, okay. Well, why don't you pick one and show it off and tell us about the ink that's in it.
One of my favorite inks I have in a relatively new pen.
Eco.
Yeah, this is the Eco, which I'm going to probably get some hate, so I'm sorry, guys. But I'm not a huge TWSBI Eco fan as far as, like, their nibs go. They're good, but they're not, like, I'm going to sing a song about them.
What nib do you have on yours?
This is the medium. I don't know if my camera here will be able to pick it up. I'm just using the basic MacBook here. This is the medium one. Most of the nibs that I get, I pretty much have all the TWSBIs, even though I don't know why. It's a thing. I need to collect them. But most of them
you have one of everything-itis.
Right? Exactly.
At least you have one of everything-itis over something that's a lot less expensive than a classic Pens LB5.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But most of them tend to be a little like, the tines tend to be tight on mine, and they're very, very, very stiff. So I do have to like work them in a little bit. But I do like them in the sense that they're all like piston fills. They're all really easy to clean. And so I don't have, an issue like cleaning them out here and there and then just like kind of filling them with the ridiculous amount of ink I have. I don't have quite like as many bottles as you. But I have almost like
most people with their mental faculties don't.
Fair enough.
This is the sign of mental illness in my mind. But go on.
It's beautiful though. It's okay. I think I have like 23 bottles, but I have over 100 ink samples. Like I have a problem with ink samples because I'm like, oh, it's only like $1 or $1.25. I'll just get it. Yeah. So, but right now I have diamine or diamine, however you want to pronounce it. Oh my gosh. Not autumn oak.
Apache Sunset?
Ancient copper.
Ancient copper. Ah.
My brain just like totally stopped working. But I tend to lean more towards the kind of like reddish brown inks, which is also a crazy departure from what I thought I would start with, where I was all like purples and like blues, and I still love them, but I really am attracted to like rich, dark, kind of warm colors. So I really like that one. And this nib is the exception for my usual TWSBI experience in that it's actually really wet. So I love that with this ink because this ink really like lends well to shading, especially on like Tomoe River paper. So I actually just tossed that in there yesterday because when I watch TV, I tend to like doodle and, just play around. And, with Netflix now being so awesome, it's just constantly on.
Yeah. No, I understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. What other one do I want to do? So this is an interesting little pen that I've got right now. Oh, I should probably change cameras here. So this is a Ranga ebonite pen that Terry Morris from Peyton Street Pens sent me. This is a model that Ranga makes specifically for them. They're based in California. This is the Ziante, and it's made of yellow and blue ebonite.
Very cool swirl pattern. I like it.
Yeah, the ripple pattern on the ebonite. Really nice. Ranga makes really good pens. It's a big pen, like most handmade Indian pens are. But it comes with a Yovo nib unit, number 6, standard number 6 Yovo nib unit. Nice long section, which I like a lot. I'm not doing a full review because that's actually coming up in about a week, maybe a little less than a week. But so this is one that I've got inked for review purposes. Unfortunately, I have it with one of the ugliest inks in my collection, and I didn't realize that.
Right.
It's another one of the Sailor Kingdom notes. It's the fiddler crab, the Uca arcuata, because they name them with the Latin names, and it looks like dog diarrhea. It's just the worst. It's just the worst color. I don't know how well it'll show up here. It's that that color right there. It is
Ooh, yeah.
not. It is not attractive. You know, I look at it compared to, say, the caramel ink, which it's similar to, but there's something about the caramel ink that is much nicer than the fiddler crab ink. I have to say I'm not a big fan of that one. So
Yeah, you posted that actually on your Instagram, where you were like, finally found my like long sought after color or something like that.
so when I give my dog a new dog food and all of a sudden he's got indigestion troubles, that's kind of what that fiddler crab ink looks like. It's not my favorite color, I have to admit. Fortunately, I have plenty of others to look at. So
Yeah.
all right, what about next one for you?
Next video that'll be up actually is the Lamy 2000. It's a fairly popular one and a lot of people know about it, but I don't know. There's something about this pen. I didn't actually think I would like it when I first got it because everyone was like scaring me about the whole like, nib issue.
Sweet spot issue.
Yeah, and I was like, I do tend to rotate a little bit in my hand when I write, so I'm like, I don't know if I would like it. Do I really need another piston fill, with all the Twisbies that I have? But I actually really love it. So spoiler, for the video that's coming out, but I really do actually. And I don't think that the sweet spot is something that people should be afraid of. So that's mainly why I wanted to kind of toss out that video about it, because I almost didn't buy it. In fact, I probably would have owned it 2 months prior to when I actually did buy it, but I started buying other pens in its place because people kept scaring me about it. So I just want to caution people, don't be afraid.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I'm going to go off on a little rant here because it's kind of what I do. I get, and I don't know if you started getting this yet, but I get probably 3 to 4 emails a day, people saying, or comments on YouTube saying, what pen should I buy? And I know Stephen Brown has talked about this, but that's an impossible question to answer because I don't know you. I don't know what you like. I don't know what you don't like. And the only reason I know what I liked is because I tried stuff.
Yeah.
So, my big thing to people getting into the hobby is I know fountain pens can be expensive, and I know that it's kind of scary to spend money on a pen that you don't know if you're going to like. But that's kind of unfortunately the world we live in. You can't most people can't go to a fountain pen store and try out a pen. If you're lucky, you've got one in the area, or you can go to a show and try out a pen there. But aside from that, you're kind of stuck. So the way I look at it is, if there's a pen you're interested in, go ahead and get the pen. If you don't like it, you can always sell it. And you can always just count the difference between what you bought it for and what you sold it for as a rental fee. That's the only way you're going to learn what you like. And the other big thing that I've got that it's my big pet peeve is there is no such thing as a perfect pen. There's not even such thing as a perfect pen for you. Every pen has its quirks. Every pen has its good things and its bad things. The key is to find the pen with a larger balance of good things than bad things for you. And, don't worry about getting the perfect pen because there just is no such thing. No matter what pen you get, it's going to be better than that cheap big ballpoint you got from the hotel the last time you stayed there.
Exactly.
And scene. Okay.
I like it. It was good. I know. I tell people that sometimes, people are like, well, I have these 2 pens. I'm deciding between which one should I go for. And I was like, well, it depends on what you're looking for too. Like for me, the Platinum 3776, this is my favorite fountain pen. Other people are going to hate it. They're just going to flat out hate it. But everyone is so different. And so I understand that sort of, do I, don't I? Like for me, it's about 45 minutes to the closest pen store, which for me is Wonder Pens in Toronto. So I typically don't go into stores. I don't get to experience that. I am 99% of the time an online, shopper. So I understand that fear of like, what if I don't like it? I don't understand if this is going to be too big for me, too small for me. Like, it's scary. but
Yeah,
that lentil is perfect.
yeah, I think if you're just looking for a pen, like I'm going to buy one pen and that's going to be my pen for life. I understand that a little more. But if you're going to be into the hobby, at all as a hobbyist, be willing to try some stuff. That's just, it kind of is what it is. And build a community. Join one of the great communities out there, whether it's the Slack channel for the Pen Addict or the FP Geeks forum or the Fountain Pen Network forum or the Reddit forum. Build your community, because if you find a pen you don't like, at that point it's really easy to say, hey, I've got this pen. People know who you are. They trust you, and you can sell it. And, direct person-to-person transaction through eBay, it's the best way to go in this community. So
yeah, absolutely. That's something that I learned the farther I get into it, because I've only been into fountain pens, like you said, 3 years. I've only been about just over a year and a half. So I'm relatively new in the community, let alone just YouTube.
mm-hmm.
And absolutely, that was a big thing, was like building community, which throw back to the beginning of our conversation as a part of like the reason why I went on to YouTube in the first place, is to kind of get exposure to other people. And yeah, finding people in and around your area, like just anything to bounce ideas off of, even just to try other people's pens. Mm-hmm. That's the coolest part, is like I'll go to like, just we call them pen meetings, which sounds so like formal, but really we sit around a table, we eat food, drink a beer, and just talk about pens for like 3 hours.
I've got one of those coming up actually this Saturday. I'm meeting Merber Draws and Pat L from Instagram, and hopefully a few other people from the greater Seattle area. We're going to meet up at a Starbucks because it's Seattle and that's what you do around here.
Sure.
And for 2 hours on Saturday, we're just going to pass pens around and play with ink and paper, and it's a blast. It's so nerdy, but it is such a blast. So
yeah, it's such like, when I first started, like when I got that first Pilot Metropolitan, I thought, I'm the only person in the world that actually likes fountain pens. Like, who uses these? Right? But like the more you get into the hobby, the more you realize that there are a ton of people. Mm-hmm. And there's a ton of people that are passionate and don't mind hanging out and talking about them forever. In fact, they really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And so it's really cool. And yeah, like, so that's part of the reason why I wanted to do like the Llama 2000, is just when you hear so many things about a certain pen, it's like you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt. Mm-hmm. In the sense that, it's not going to be for everybody. There is no such thing as a perfect pen, like you said. So you just got to try it.
Yeah, and I find too that, especially, as a reviewer, it's important for me to get the baseline.
Yeah.
And you're probably finding this too. It's like there's a certain set of pens that you kind of have to try.
Yeah.
And have to have a review of, just so you can understand what the community's talking about and use that as a baseline for less well-known pens. And so, cool. What ink do you have in there, by the way?
The Llama 2000 is the ancient copper.
Oh, okay. So you got it in. So wasn't that in the Eco too?
It was in the Eco as well, yeah. I'm about to actually clean this out because I'm done filming it now. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to still use that ink, but I was like, I don't know.
I hate washing ink down the sink, which I shouldn't, but I do. It drives me crazy.
It was something that I used to use like a cartridge or a converter or anything, like down to the last drop. Like when I was in the middle of the line, the ink would run dry, and then I'd be like, okay, I can finally clean this out. But I can't anymore. I can't, especially now with the pistons, like with the large ink capacity. I was like, I just can't do it.
Well, speaking of large ink capacity, here is my next pen. This is Franklin Christoph model P60, or not P, just the model 66. Yeah. And it's the, I forget is it the intrinsic? I don't remember the model name, but
glass is the newest one. Oh, the Stabilis or something?
Oh yeah, the Stabilis or Stabilis or whatever.
Something like that.
It's the model 66 is what we call it. I picked this up at the LA Pen Show. It's in the antique glass finish. They also had the, and I've got one, but I don't have it in here, the Italian ice finish, which is that clear acrylic that if ultraviolet light hits it, it kind of glows bluish purple.
Yeah.
It's really cool looking in the right light. But anyway, I droppered this one and filled it with Diamine Shimmertastic Purple Pizzazz because if you're going to use a Shimmertastic ink, you might as well put it in an eyedropper. That's kind of, the fun part of it. I almost never eyedropper my pens, but
Me neither.
this one just, I mean, look at that. It just dies. It's just begging to be eyedroppered. You can watch the ink slosh around in there. It's
Yeah, I have 2 Franklin Christophs. Actually, the Model 66 was the very first one I ever got. And it was also the first Mike Masuyama nib I ever had. I have the medium cursive italic nib on mine. But yeah, I have that one. I really enjoy their pens. The Purple Pizzazz as well. I actually have that. I just did a review of the Jinhao X750, the Shimmering Sands or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Now I call the poor man's rotten. But I was like, a shimmering ink for a shimmering pen. I figured that would go pretty well together. But yeah, Franklin Christoph ones are really good. I also just got the Model 20. There's the bronzed finish that Wonder Pens in Toronto had exclusive.
Oh, yeah. I saw that all over Instagram.
Yeah.
I think Gerald had one, and my coffee pot.
Yeah, he's
cool.
actually one of the ones that I meet in Toronto to talk pens with.
Michelle, and who else usually shows up?
Oh, there's a whole bunch of us newbies now. Like I kind of joined that group just a couple weeks ago, but even since then, they're just like recruiting tons. Like the group is getting bigger and bigger, and they were joking, saying that they're gonna have to start renting out the bar that everyone goes to instead of having tables. But yeah, so that pen blew up, especially for Canada because we don't really get any exclusives ever.
Yeah.
Most of the time, like I said, the States or Europe will get things before we do. So whenever we get something of our own, we hold it dear.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
Cool. What's the next inked pen on your list?
Let's see. I did a little pocket pen, Pilot E95 S, I think. This guy in here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I'm kind of washing out a little bit. But I liked this one because I wanted something that was really tiny that I could just like chuck in my pocket. And this one certainly is teeny. I think you actually did a review of this one.
I've never done the E95.
No?
I've had several requests to do it. I've just never bought one. It's getting to the point, and this is such a great problem to have, where I don't have to buy pens hardly anymore. Most of the pens are provided to me, which is great. And so my season 3 ends the end of May.
Okay.
And I'm going to take like 4 months off. I love doing pen reviews, but do not mess with my Seattle summer. We get 4 months of sunshine a year, and you better believe I'm not going to spend them in a padded room talking about pens. I'm going to be outside. Actually, last summer I spent most of my summer in a padded room reading a paranormal romance novel out loud. So this year there's I'm gardening.
Fair enough.
On random note, sorry, I keep forgetting to change the camera. Random note, I just discovered that May 7th is World Naked Gardening Day. So, in case you're in the area, you might not want to come over that day. I'm just going to throw that out there. Anyway.
It'd be a bit of a commute for me to come visit you.
Okay, so you've got the E95. What do you have that inked up with?
Mont Blanc Lavender Purple.
Love that ink.
I will say you actually convinced me to buy that one because you said in your video that it was like blueberry pie filling. And I was like, done. Done, I'm in.
Yeah, when you can tie an ink to food, I find that really entices people.
Yep.
It's kind of like the Papier Plum caramel that I used in my review of the Bexley Ebonite last week. It's like that ink is just reminds me of salted caramel anything. So
yeah, I just tried. I'm gonna butcher the name, so I apologize. But I just tried Gerba Café de Ile, something like that. I'm a terrible Canadian. I can't speak French.
That's okay. Don't worry. Everyone on YouTube will start emailing you telling you how to pronounce things. So
oh yeah,
that's what I've discovered firsthand.
Yeah, like most times in my videos now, I'll say it like a couple ways, and I'll be like, oh, whatever, because pronunciation is terrible. But that one reminds me of like chocolate syrup, like that you put into like, Sundays or something like that. And when you write, it comes out kind of like almost a little on the thicker side. And then as it dries, you can almost like see it swirl a little bit. And I'm like, I want to eat you.
Have you ever tried Private Reserve Chocolat before?
I haven't tried it, but I do have a sample of it.
It reminds me of like luscious milk chocolate. It's really beautiful. So it's I don't use a lot of Private Reserve inks anymore.
Yeah.
Not that I have anything against them. I've had nothing but I've had one bottle mold out on me, but it was a bottle that had been sitting on the retailer's shelf for years. But I am such a nut for Mont Blanc and Sailor inks right now. Especially, I mean, look at my Sailor collection. It's gone nuts. Plus, I've got the other 3 bottles that I don't have. So I've got plus the 4 Bung Box bottles over there. So I've become a real Sailor, and plus, and then I really like most of Mont Blanc's production line. But then I've also up there got a bunch of special editions too. So
yeah.
I'm a big fan of a lot of their inks. And then I just got 2 bottles of the Lamy Dark Lilac ink, which is
so good.
I've seen, and it's got gold sheen, and I'm a sheen nut. So, okay, last pen for me, and then we can probably get close to wrapping this up. Is I had to pull out, camera switch, sorry. I had to pull out the Omas, May They Rest in Peace Forever, Ogiva, in the brown arco-celluloid, and just beautiful pen. Got the extra flessibile nib, and in case that is the correct pronunciation, flessibile. It's not flexible. There's an extra I in there, so but I've got that inked with piano mahogany from Sailor Bung Box, which is, I think, my new favorite ink. It's brown, like rich brown with red undertones. It really does look like mahogany.
I'll probably dig that.
Gorgeous. And it behaves so well. I think I've got it. It's very dark ink. It's that top one right there.
Yeah, it looks kind of black on my end right now.
Yeah, it's brown with red, but it's very dark and saturated, and on the right paper has some good sheen. So overall, I'm gaga for that piano mahogany ink. It's just gorgeous. So okay, so that's my last one. What's your last currently inked?
My last currently inked is the Pelican M205 in the Amethyst edition, or special edition of last year, 2015. I was surprised by this, actually. I bought the M600 and loved it, but kept thinking I should get an M800 because I like it to be a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier. So when I got this one, I didn't think I would like it as much because it's smaller and lighter, but yet I want an M800, bigger and heavier. But I'm actually really digging this one. For a steel nib, it's probably one of the smoothest I've ever used. And I have the fine nib on there, which sometimes can be a little scratchy too.
I actually had some problems because I got one of those too. I actually bought it when it came out, and I got the medium nib on mine, and it was kind of scratchy, actually. It wasn't great. I had to smooth it out a lot. I mean, it was maybe scratchy is not the right word, because it wasn't really scratchy. The tines were in alignment, but it was a lot more feedbacky than I was expecting, and especially for Pelican nibs. It seems like my experience has been lately, when they get it right, they get it really, really right, but they're getting it right less often than they used to, it feels like. Like my Pelican M1000 was just a train wreck of a nib.
Wow.
That I reviewed recently. The 800s that I've gotten have all been really good. I've never used a 600 or a 400. Oh, no, I have used a 600. That nib was really good, too. That was the white tortoise that I had.
Oh, they're pretty.
But the 200 in the Amethyst was, I had to work on the nib a little bit. It's still a nice pen, though. I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah, I didn't have to work on this one at all. Like, obviously, they got it right on this one because it just sang. It was beautifully. This one I have filled up with Private Reserve Ebony Purple. It was one of the samples I picked up. Not a huge fan, actually, of it. It's because I guess it's a wetter pen for me. It comes out looking like black almost.
Yeah, even on the drier pens, it is so dark. It is almost a black ink. At least that's been my experience, because I have a full bottle of it.
Oh, okay.
Like 3 or 4 bottles of ink that I ever bought. So yeah.
It performs okay. It's a lot darker than I would like. And I think actually, because I inked that up right after I used the Lamy Dark Lilac. And typically I'm not a fan of Lamy ink. I love the turquoise, but I don't really care for a lot of the other colors. So I was kind of like hesitant for the like dark lilac, but I was like, I'll do it anyways. And now it's gorgeous. So I think when I flush that out of the Ebony Purple, I'm going to put dark lilac in that, because I think it's really, really well. But I'm temporarily, after I get the Platinum 3776 from Goulet Pens, I'm temporarily on a pen buying hold, because I'm actually heading, excuse me, to Europe the end of next month. Actually, what's today, the 28th? So exactly a month and a day. I'm doing a European trip. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to find something good over there.
Going to be in the Netherlands at all?
Yes.
Know a couple good pen stores over there you need to make a trip to?
Yeah, I'll be in the Amsterdam area for a few days.
Try to track down La Couronne de Comte or Applebaum.
Yeah, I'm hoping I'm going to find something really good. I'm probably going to like try to find something that I can't get here easily, because we get hit a lot of times with like customs and our bad dollar rate right now. So hopefully I'll find something cool, and then I'll be able to come back to the pen world and be like, look at my pretties.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Again, going back to how fortunate we are in the US, I have literally never paid customs on anything that I bought from overseas here. I don't even think they look at it unless the stated value is over $1,000. But even the few times that I have gotten something over $1,000 from overseas, in fact, I'm not sure I ever have. Maybe that's why I've never paid it. But the customs, they don't care.
Wow.
Which is very fortunate. Well, in any case, we're running out of time here. We went longer than we intended, which always happens with these videos, but
we just keep going.
Yeah, exactly. So huge thank you, Kerry, for joining me for the very first Currently Inked.
Well, thanks for having me.
By the way, allow me the shameless plug. Don't forget the Currently Inked log from the Pen Habit, now available on penhabit.com. Which kind of inspired the name of this, and you've been seeing me use it, show it to the camera a few times here. There's just so everyone knows, there's going to be, I'm working with a designer for new covers for a whole line of notebooks. They're going to be very cool when they're done. So I'm hoping to get those over to the printer next week and have an announcement within the next couple of weeks. So that should be excellent. So Kerry, what do you got? Where do you have the take two? What do you have coming up, and where can people find you?
The next review that will be coming up tomorrow, actually, so that's the 29th of April, is going to be the Filofax notebook.
Oh, cool.
If this goes a little bit later, the next video after that is going to be the Lamy 2000. And you can find me primarily on Instagram and YouTube, pens_and_t for both names. So just search Pens and T and I'll show up.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. If you have questions or comments, suggestions for people to have on future Currently Inked, that would be great. Like I said, I'm hoping to make this a semi-regular thing, although we'll see. Hopefully we'll have a job here pretty soon, and that may cut back on the number of these I'm able to do. But for the most part, I'm looking forward to it. I've already got a couple more of these lined up, so I know that at least for the next few weeks, these will be popping into the feed every now and again. So thank you again, Kerry. It's been great getting to meet you and get to know you a little bit better. Everyone go check out her YouTube channel and her Instagram feed. And we will see you here next time on The Pen Habit. Bye.
Bye, guys.